Hey, Kez Army! So I was working on a full Kez guide, and one of the sections was mid versus Safelane Kez. And this part started getting way more in-depth than I had originally planned, and figured it warranted its own video. So this video is mostly going to cover how you should play your lane mid, primarily in the early/laning stage, where I cover how you should position yourself, how to play to win your lane mid, as well as cover what my item and talent choices are, where the last part of this video is just going to be some commentary over some clips showcasing how to win mid. I'm still working on a more in-depth video covering all things Kez, but honestly I have no clue when I'm going to finish that, if I ever even do. So starting off, is Kez better safe lane or mid? Honestly depends, so just as reference, I have over 300 games on Kez right now, 70% win rate, where a little under half of them are mid, the other half are safe lane. And in my opinion, I think he's viable in both positions, and I do favor going mid, simply because you can take over the game a lot easier if you win your lane mid, as opposed to safe lane. But then on the other hand, you have this problem where Kez is a pretty greedy hero, where you really want to farm until you get your ags, and if your side lanes aren't doing too hot, it feels like your team can very easily start crumbling. So it's a double-edged sword where you can potentially win your game outright mid if you do have a really good lane, versus potentially put your team on the back foot if you have a bad lane. So as a caveat, before we continue, this video covers how I play Kez. There's, I'm sure, multiple other viable builds that other people use. I'm only sharing what I've had success with. Whether it's the best or not, I don't know, but it's what has worked for me. So with that, let's get started. Well, generally, you want to max your passive first, since this means more parries, and just makes every point of damage you do to the enemy mid way more valuable, since they're going to be bleeding in the katana form. And essentially, I think there's a couple of options in terms of leveling your skills. What my general go-to build looks like is, level 1, I put my point in passive, level 2, Echo Slash, level 3, passive, level 4, Echo Slash, and then level 5, again, parry, level 6, ult, level 7 parry. So I think there's essentially two areas or two levels where you could potentially get grapple or silence if you think you really need it. Generally in the games I've played, I haven't found it super valuable, but I think if you do put a point in grapple or silence, you want to do it at level 5 or level 8, where at level 5 you're essentially playing 2 points in Echo Slash, 2 points in passive, 1 point in your grapple, which I think works fine. Or you want to do it at level 8, after you finish maxing out your passive, you put this value point in grapple, and then you have level 2 Echo, 1 grapple, max passive. I think both are viable. Generally, I always max out my passive, and then Echo Slash, and I don't put in a point in grapple until level 10. So really, it's up to you what build you want to play and whatever you feel more comfortable with. I found that level 1 grapple is pretty useless, so this is the build I've been playing with and have had pretty good success with. Now for item builds, so this is where some of you may think I'm trolling or say it's turbo bad, I'm inting, like what is this build? Again, I'm telling you this is what's worked for me. I'm playing this in Immortal, 700 games, still winning with it. There's essentially two different variations of this build that I've tried, both in which my opinion work very well depending on what your comp is. But the first is Battle Fury Ags. So the worst part about this build is just the mental damage it's going to cause your teammates, because they don't understand how hard you're about to carry their asses. And I'm going to explain more in the upcoming clips, kind of how this build works and how you play with this Battle Fury. So, before you go sicko mode on me and click off, just watch some of the clips and some of my commentary first. But essentially the TLDR is you want to build this Battle Fury fast and really farm aggressively on the enemy side and pull all the enemy team attention to yourself. Kez absolutely loves it when supports and other cores try to gank him in the early game, especially when you have this level advantage in mid. So really Kez is like this more threatening puck, where you have this very similar playstyle, but you're even more threatening than a puck is. But more on this later. Before that, the second build is essentially the same thing, except I go Mage Slayer over to Battle Fury, where really the idea behind this build is where instead of playing this more farming role, where you're taking the enemy farm, kind of trying to choke them out a little bit, you do the same thing except by playing a more active ganking role, And generally, the only times I really go this build is when I have a strong position 1 that's going to be farming a lot already and doing big damage. So think of something like a Gyro or a Sven, where your role is more of one to just make chaos and set up for your carry, as opposed to really just putting your team on your back. So I would say in 80% of my games, I would go Battle Fury Ags. In 20% of my games, I go Mage Slayer Ags. So just throwing this build out there in case you don't want to go this Battle Fury Ags, but I'd still recommend this first build. So for the rest of this video, it's broken down into essentially 2 sections. So one is covering a large portion of a match where it's essentially like your perfect ideal Kez game, how you want things to go, how you want to play. And then the rest are just clips or snippets of different matches where I kind of highlight, hey, this is what you want to do, this is, you know, how you can win your lane mid and how to play. Where I'm mostly just showing little snippets as opposed to one larger length. So I will put sections or segment where each part is in case you ever want to look back or refer to it. Alright, so with that, let's get into some examples. So your whole point of laning in mid is to try and set up parries and then nuke back with your Echo Slash. So this matchup here is against an Invoker. So you can see we're just playing pretty chill here at the start. This guy's stun striking the last hit, so you know he's quite a gamer. Gets me the cold snap. I'm not too worried about it. At this point, I'm just trying to hit level 2 so I can start, you know, really poking him here. So we're playing pretty safe, just chilling. Missed the last hit for good measure, you know. Love to see it. So now I'm level 2, got my wand. Setting up here for this. So I get him with the parry, switch, and then I Echo Slash and start hunting him down a little bit. And you can see that does a ton of damage. And essentially this is all you want to be doing mid, where you set up these parries, counter with the Echo Slash, and they can't really do anything. So you can see I get him again here, poke him even more. I don't want to dive under tower since I'm scared of Cold Snap Forge Spirits, but maybe I could have gone in. So I'm playing pretty far up. I want him to, you know, try and poke me with right clicks. And generally what I like to do is position myself a little bit off of the creep wave so I can tell when he's actually going to right click me versus right click a creep. So you can see I set up another parry here, hits with the cold snap. I don't have vision of him and I am with the Echo Slash. Unlucky, dude. Missed the last hit, another unlucky. So I'm letting him poke me a little bit here, you know, build up confidence so I can set up the parry. Again, trying to play off a little bit to the sides of the creep so I can see when he's trying to right click me. I get a parry, under the tower, hit him with the Echo Slash. So level 4 is really when you feel at your most powerful here as Kez. It feels like you can really do a lot of damage. So you can see there, I probably could have committed and got this kill, but I was scared that maybe someone was going to TP. Wasn't super sure. You can see here he almost gets me. Run into the Sunstrike. Very unfortunate. But I'm still fine. Have the regen. Still feel like I'm getting decent farm here and still doing good poke to him. So now we're just chilling. Level 3 parry. Feeling pretty strong right now. Feeling pretty confident that if he tries to right click me he's gonna die. So there you go. He falls for the parry again. I don't chase once again when I really should have, but he dies anyway. And now, you know, this guy's on the back foot by a lot. And then this bounty hunter shows up. I just hit 6. We've got a Bloodseeker on the team so I can see him with the invis. And now everything's going in my favor. You know, the lane's pretty much won. I've got good level advantage, good farm advantage on the Invoker. Feeling pretty invincible. Trying to set up a parry. There's another parry. He falls for it again. I do some poke. Respecting the Sunstrike. Here, this is embarrassing. I get too greedy. I think I could have killed them, but I was playing stupid. Unlucky. Huge mistake. Don't be doing this. But still, you know, look at the net worth. Still have a pretty good lead. Silly mistake, but I'm still feeling confident that the game's going in our favor here. So come back to lane. Still playing aggressive since I know this guy can't really do much to me. I parry. I wait until the cold snap comes out before I use my Raptor Blade since it purges the cold snap debuff. So kind of just some nice tech to remember once you hit level 6, where you can set up this really nice combo where you can get a parry, echo slash in, and that kind of sets you up to get a really nice katana ult. So again, just chilling now. Lane is very much over. Invoker can't right click me. I'm trying to get some denies in, making sure he really gets nothing. And then just keeping an eye for every time he tries to right click me to parry it and punish him. You can see here, he right clicks me, go in for the punish, I wait for the cold snap, and then Beyblade, and he's dead. And now the game's over, right? This guy is super tilted. The mid tower's probably about to fall over. I'm just farming some camps here, and essentially this is how you want to play as Kez, where at this point I have a huge level advantage. I want to be stealing their farm, playing aggro, where I want to be forcing rotations. I want people to try and come kill me. Here I eat the meatball like an idiot, but who doesn't love a meatball sub?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Get an arcane rune, we're still just chilling. Got a Slark position 5, kind of weird. But we're completely fine with this. We're getting good farm. We're pushing out the tower. Invoker can't really do anything. You know, it's 9 minutes. He only has his Midas. So then I figured I should put some more pressure on the mid tower, so I echo slash in. He meatballs. And we're just chilling. Now with some people show up mid, I get the Jakiro, but unfortunately Bounty Hunter was also on top of me. But I'm still happy with this. You know, 4 people are mid, that just means both my cores, offlane and safelane, are farming, having a good time.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Here's Slark TP's mid, I TP after him. We have a little pinging war where I'm like, hey, I need this farm. I don't know what's happening.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But here, we take the tower, and essentially this is how you want to play now. Where you dominate your lane, and now you just play aggressive. Play on their side of the map. You know, you want to be farming these jungles next to your off lane, where, in case they start planning some kind of rotation to them, you can easily get there. So you can see I'm just taking farm from their side of the map. So my carry and my offlaner still have plenty of space to farm. You know, I'm building this Battle Fury, but it's farm that's not safe enough for them to take. So here I'm right by the offlane because I feel like, okay, if we try to set something up here, I can easily make a move. Doesn't look like anything's happening, so I run back mid. We're closing in on Battle Fury. It's going to be a pretty quick one.
Radiant are scanning.
So again, I'm trying to force people mid, so I decide, okay, let's pressure mid lane some more. So pushing out the wave. Again, just taking these camps right by the tower. Feeling super safe. Battle Fury's finally done.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I see their Morphling TPs. Invoker's behind me. Here I get a little bit scared. I think I could have set up a kill here, but I was just a little bit worried that there might have been someone else waiting for me. But now I have my Battle Fury. 13 minutes. Playing super aggressive still. Kind of showing where I am. Not super worried. My team shows up. We clean up this Morphling. They just have nowhere to go. And this is essentially how you want to be playing Kez, where you have this Battle Fury, but you're taking unsafe farm that your carry wouldn't be taking anyway. And meanwhile, your whole goal is to build up towards this Ags, since as soon as you hit Ags in level 15, the game's over. You've won the game. You can see Nyx here sets up this kill for us. Guy gets absolutely shredded. And this guy comes in to feed too. And the game's over at this point, right? You know, Mid's completely demolished, does not have a game. They have nowhere to farm, we're completely choking them out. You know, my Gyro is doing what the carry is supposed to do. He's farming the jungle, he's playing safe, we aren't competing for farm here. Another person shows up, and this is where Kez is just a powerhouse. At this point in the game where you have this awesome start, you have this huge level advantage, you're essentially just one-shotting supports. Again, stealing big farm.
Radiant are scanning.
Randomly popped the parry there, just in case this bounty hunter. Here I go for the bounty hunter when I really should have gone for the morphling there. You can see I even click on him to check after. Seeing that he only has 700 health and I probably could have killed him. Big mistake. But I'm still, you know, it's a good game. Huge lead. We're closing in on Ags. Jakiro shows up here and I end up getting the kill, but forced this massive rotation. And if I had ult here, I could have turned this around, but unfortunately wasted it on the Jakiro. But again, not super concerned about this. Forced a huge rotation. 5 people are here bottom. Mega space for my carry and for my offlaner.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So closing in on Ags. And I think at this point I'm about to come up. I'm pinging to my team, hey, stop fighting. You know, I'm about to hit 15. Let me get my 15 and we can kind of win the game.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So, TP over here, get my level 15. Since I know there's a big power spike coming. And start heading over towards the fight. You can see here I start in dagger form with my ult, set up the Echo Slash right there. Does a bunch of health to the morph. You can see he even shows up on the map there for a little bit. This guy shows up, instantly dies. At this point, you know, too much farm. Ags is up, and now I know the game's over. Since if you guys have played Kez with Ags, you know how absurdly broken this item is on him.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And now, you know, we're just running over them. It's a slaughter. And essentially we just snowball the game from here and
Dire's middle tower
get
is
the
under
easy
attack.
W. Okay, so here we're playing against a Quap of Pain. So you can see I just open up straight up with the parry, get a hit, ton of damage already.
I already like this plan.
Here I start pushing on the Quap here, doing a bunch of damage, all with the passive at level 1. Switch back to Katana stance because I know I'm about to hit level 2 and I want to start getting that parry, Echo Slash. Miss another last hit. You'll love to see it.
Your funeral. Under attack.
Here I get baited, missed the parry unfortunately. But I decide to poke back with the Echo Slash and just try and right click here a little bit.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
I'd say Quap is
Brought more than one.
could be a really hard matchup depending if they max Shadow Dagger, which I think in this case she does. But if they usually, a lot of the times they'll max the Scream of Pain, which makes your laning a lot easier as Kez. So, in my experience, laning against Quap can be either a nightmare or very easy.
Blame the shoppy.
So you saw there I got a parry and accidentally Falcon Rushed just because I pressed the buttons too quick. Sitting in side form, getting ready for the parry. You can see I get one there.
Block out of here.
Echo Slash, big damage. She gets me back here. I hit a parry. Pop. Get kind of lucky there. You get the kill. Unfortunately, still die after. But you get the idea.
Block out
So here we're playing against another Whomp of Pain.
Getting attacked. Another day, another.
Mess up the parry. Yikes. But it's absolutely fine. With the passive, this is why I always hit the passive level 1. It just feels like you can permanently trade with enemy mids. You can see Quamp is pretty low now. And I'm waiting for level 2 so I can get this parry here.
Let's go.
Start getting a little bit low. Kind of worried. But I know that as soon as I get 2, I can set up a big kill here. So I get the parry early, hit level 2, and all of a sudden she doesn't have blink, and she dies here.
Down, literally.
There we go.
Your work, food pal. Hey, sure.
Your bottom tower is under
Alright,
attack.
same match here, a little bit later. Set up another parry. This time she was a little bit higher level than me. Super close, but she manages to bleed.
Pretty good at being in pain.
And now we're happy. Alright, so this matchup is against an OD, who I think is genuinely one of the most annoying heroes to play against, mid. Just because, you know, he puts you under and whatever. But you see there, I started with the parry again, and just poke with the katana.
Dire's turret has been killed.
Getting last hits, there's the stupid annoying bullshit. But again, exact same premise here. You really just want to set up the parry, counter with the Echo Slash, and that's how you kind of just end up dominating her lane. And unfortunately against heroes like OD where they spam abilities, it makes it a little bit harder. But you see there, I get a parry, poke him a little bit. Now we're just chilling, waiting for more parries, so we can set up another kill. There's another parry. There's the Echo Slash. So, a little bit later, the same game here. And I mentioned this before, Kez loves getting ganked by supports. So you see that, they have no idea about how strong the parry is. This guy gets parried. Even though they came for a gank, they get counter ganked, and we get a double kill. Same game again. The guy respawns, he puts me under. I Falcon Rush with dagger form, or with katana form. Do some good poke. I see that he's really low here, so I'm just waiting until my Echo Slash is up. I want him to get a little bit closer, then I ult, and he's dead. A little bit further into the game, now the enemy team is, you know, bringing all their supports. You know, now we're having our first full team blown fight here in mid. And this is when Kez is really at its strongest. So you can see they're using everything, and then it's just clean up crew here. And now, the game's over. Okay, here we're playing against an Alchemist mid. And again, same premise. Do a little bit of poke at level 1 with the katana. Play for level 2, where, again, parry, Echo Slash. You can see here he's playing pretty aggressive onto my middle tier 1. Now I have 2, so I know I can start man-fighting him a little bit, get the parry, Echo Slash. And now he's in a bad position, and I can just keep poking him. Happy to do this trade with him. And we still get the last hits, so we're feeling pretty good about that trade. And here he charges up a stun. I think I could have killed him if I went a little more aggro there, but don't play enough against Alchemists to know how much you can push them. And now we're just farming. Again, we've kind of harassed him to the point where I felt pretty comfortable where I didn't even need to parry him. I could just start poking with Echo Slash, especially with the level 2 bleed here. And now he's having a hard game. He can't come up to last hit properly. See, I harass again with Echo Slash, almost kill him. He comes up too close. And now he's having a really bad lane. Missed the last hit. Love to see it. Miss another last hit.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But it's worth it for the kill. Same game, just a little bit later now. I've been harassing him still. He's still having a really hard lane. Both of us are pretty low, but I know that all I need is one parry, or just a nice Echo Slash here and he goes down. See here, get the Echo Slash. Guy's completely tilted. Has not been able to play the game, so he buys back. And does not get the kill.